OpenAI looks like a tech giant. ChatGPT's creator seems untouchable, with billions in revenue and a reputation as the AI king. But internal spreadsheets tell a different story. Starting in 2026, OpenAI is projected to lose $14 billion a year, and by 2029, total spending could hit $115 billion. The AI works, but the costs are tied to real-world limits, and that's something most people miss. AI isn't like a regular app. Traditional software improves when you hire better engineers or write cleaner code. But AI follows something called scaling laws, and they're brutally expensive. The scaling law trap scaling laws are simple math rules that govern how AI gets smarter. But here is the catch. Doubling intelligence doesn't mean doubling effort. It requires massive increases in computing power. Small improvements mean enormous costs. For context, training GPT-4 cost over $100 million for a single run. And that was just the beginning. The next generation models, arriving in 2026 and 2027, could each cost over $1 billion per training session, more than the GDP of some small countries. And you can't just train once and be done. OpenAI must keep retraining models to stay ahead of competitors, most of whom offer similar AI for free. This creates a fundamental problem. Costs far outpace revenue. Hardware versus reality, OpenAI's expenses aren't digital, they're physical. High-end AI chips like NVIDIA's Blackwell B200s cost $30,000 to $40,000 each, and training a frontier model requires tens of thousands of them. Add high-speed interconnects, liquid cooling, and maintenance, and the bills skyrocket. The chips also have a short lifespan. Unlike a truck or a factory machine, AI hardware becomes obsolete every 18 to 36 months. OpenAI must replace everything just to stay competitive. Imagine a trucking company having to buy a brand new fleet every year and a half. That's the reality of AI. And then there's the electricity. Project Stargate, OpenAI's new supercomputer, is essentially a $500 billion gamble. It needs 10 gigawatts, enough to power millions of homes. The grid can barely support it, meaning OpenAI negotiates for direct nuclear and solar power just to keep the models running. The cost of free users. Every free ChatGPT user adds to the cost. Electricity and hardware wear and tear mean OpenAI loses billions just keeping the service running for millions of users. So how do they stay afloat? One answer is Microsoft. Yes, they've invested billions, but much of it isn't cash. It's cloud credits for Azure, effectively gift cards that must be spent on Microsoft's servers. This boosts Microsoft's revenue. But OpenAI still needs real cash to pay employees, rent, and legal fees. The risky business model. Even with funding, OpenAI faces mercenary users. Most consumers and businesses switch easily to alternatives like Google's Gemini or Meta's Llama. About 75% of OpenAI's revenue comes from subscriptions, but cancellations are rising. Only 20–30% of businesses stick with OpenAI's API long-term. Competitors aren't helping either. Meta's free Llama models and Google's aggressive development put a ceiling on pricing. OpenAI is trapped between exploding costs and cutthroat competition, all while trying to keep top talent from leaving. The antitrust and regulatory pressure regulators in Washington and Brussels are scrutinizing the Microsoft OpenAI partnership. Export controls and safety regulations are creating mounting legal costs. OpenAI now needs armies of lawyers and safety researchers, roles that generate zero revenue. Unlike Uber or Tesla, which lost money while building tangible networks, OpenAI's product is mostly raw computing power. Every query costs money, and users can leave any time. Betting. Everything on AGI OpenAI is racing to build artificial general intelligence, AI that can think and work like a human. If they succeed, the cash burn won't matter. Revenue could skyrocket. But every month of delay costs over $1 billion, and even a small timing misstep could create a funding gap of nearly $100 billion. The likely outcome. The most probable scenario isn't bankruptcy, it's absorption. By 2027, cash reserves from the 2025 funding rounds will be nearly gone. OpenAI will likely need to sell to Microsoft, the only company with enough cash to sustain its burn rate. Microsoft gets the crown jewel of AI. Investors may face a fire sale, but survival is bought. OpenAI proved scaling AI works, but only if you have a nation-state-sized budget. The AI revolution is now industrial. Success is measured in data centers, not lines of code. The independent AI pioneer is likely to be absorbed by a corporate giant, ending the era of the startup frontier. OpenAI proved that AI scaling works, but only with a nation-state-sized budget. The independent pioneer may soon be absorbed by a corporate giant. The AI revolution has gone industrial, and the race is far from over. What do you think? Will AI reshape the world before the money runs out, or is the industry heading for consolidation? Comment your thoughts below. Like if you learned something new, and subscribe for more deep dives into tech, AI, and the future of innovation.